Good morning, good morning. Hey, Kumar, how you doing? Moran, how are you? Moran's got to be one of our most dedicated traders in the room. By the time she's done, she's going to be running a fund. Hey, Super, what's going on? Well, here we go. And I'm starting out with this market profile chart. Now, market profile can be incredibly complex if you allow it to be. Um, but it really, if you use it in a practical manner, boy, you know, let's get into it before I lose my train of thought. Okay, so we've had liquidation, right? We've had nothing but liquidation. And, oh, what did I hit? Sorry. We've had nothing but liquidation. And, hey, Poopa, how you doing? So we've had liquidation from above, right? That liquidating inventory, right, it's caused by a number of things. People don't want to hold it anymore. People are really out of sorts. Margin calls, rolling margin call selling. Just read an article in the Financial Times that there have been a lot of rolling call margin calls. Look, Renaissance Technology is down, right? If anybody knows who they are, right? That's serious. Those are serious people, right? If they're down money, don't feel bad if you've had trouble trading, okay? So what happens in these liquidations? And it happened earlier. We had a liquidation, and then we went sideways for a bit, and then kapow, right? We had Judgment Day, Terminator 2, right? So Terminator came in, we had Judgment Day, and the thing just, boom, trying to find a bid, right? Trying to find somebody to buy this stuff. Well, a couple of days ago, this inventory and this inventory got taken in by wholesale, and we did a big look below and fail of 5,000. Okay? Did a couple of things. We didn't spend much time under 5,000. And what happened was a lot of people got short under 5K, right? They got short here. So the market, now, this doesn't happen, nobody engineered this. It's not like a stock with a short squeeze that's engineered. The market, this happens by human nature. So people are short under 5K. The next day and the next night, we use that short position to push the market really up high, and we did a gap and trap. Now, equity traders who trade small caps and equity traders, you know, they'll have heard the gap and trap, right? They'll have heard about that. Okay? Hey, Sadiq, good to have you back with us. Back in the land of the living. Good. Thanks for the references. We missed you. So What that did was it allowed those traders who had to take in inventory, right? It allows them to take that inventory and go sell it higher, right? And then they just hammered it right back down. Now, what happened in the overnight tonight, you will see that inventory was short. If you watch our Globex replay, we were watching, and when the market came down, right, there's ways to tell that people are short. One is by the reaction of price when it gets to certain levels. When the market came in and put in that overnight low here, the buying response was insane. It was like boom, because we couldn't take out the low of 2 days ago. We came close, but what happened was the shorts came in and they started covering, and we got a heck of a rip, and a very dangerous rip because the order book completely parted like the Red Sea. There were like 10-point gaps in the order book that absolutely had no orders in them at all. And the market just ripped higher. And then, of course, we came to an area where the sellers stepped in. And then you see these are just half-hour bars. And the highs are getting lower as the sellers come in and compete, right? So this morning, do we open above or below 5,000? And do we hold the low of yesterday? Because I'll tell you something, despite all the bad news and the, tag your it tariff thing that's going on, every time we come underneath 49.14, 48.89, there is a responsive bid. So there are buyers down here in the overnight. Do I think that holds? I have no clue. But we know that if we get down there again, let's be on our toes, huh? Right? Head on a swivel, hand on your wallet. Right? Keep your head on your swivel if we break 49.14. Because if you're short under 49.14 and that big buy order drops again like it did here and here, you're going to get a big push up and you're going to get stopped out. So, hey, let's be aware, right? Let's be careful. Let's be aware. So if we are aware, we can plan. So if you're shorting and the market comes down to 49.14, you can start paying yourself, closing your short a little bit, just in case you get that violent rip. Right? I mean, some people will have a 20, 30 point trade on, and then you get one good rip. These 1 minute candles, 15, 20 points in a 1 minute candle, there goes all your profits. Right? That happens. Right? All the money's gone. So let's be careful out there. Let's be aware of that. Let's go look at these charts. And I apologize, these ranges are pretty big. So there's that 5,000, right? Overnight inventory is short. There was an 80.1 minute candle. Fun times, eh, Elsie? Hey, Elsie, remember when we used to say, let's build out a trading range? And all you young punks would laugh at me? Yeah, now we got one. Right? Let's see. They have been covering. Does the cover continue? Right? Does the cover continue? We don't know. I'd like to say I know for sure, but I would be lying if I said I would, right? I mean, and I can't call the low and say, "Oh, that's the low, and we're not going to go any lower." If I ever say that, somebody slap me, right? It's the business we're in now. So inventory is still short, right? Macro is driving the bus, but people still do have to transact their daily business, right, Rolly? Is he on TV again? Am I trying to defend price? Oh no. No, 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 no. Hey, and I'll say it a million times, right? I saw a very nice man trying to defend price, and I saw him burn $120 million. It was like taking $120 million, pouring lighter fluid all over it, and then taking a blowtorch to it. Because he took his stock up to 16, 17, 20 bucks, sold about $120 million worth of stock, and then when the shorts came in, instead of just selling the stock down to a nickel and writing more for himself, creating more, he bought it all back. I'm like, what are you doing? Right? Yeah, $120 million gone. No, he just did another deal. It's just paper, Tim. It's just paper. We're alchemists. We turn worthless paper into cash. That's true alchemy, right? Turning stock certificates into cash. Now, where's our overnight point of control? It's down here, 49.32 in that area. Balance, 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 balance. My balance zone is 48.98 half to 49.16. The balance zones are larger because the ranges are larger. What that means is we really want to execute at the top and the bottom or the edges of these ranges. If you are a fast trader, you can try and execute at the middle. On days like this, if I am trading, I will prefer to execute when we do the look below and fail, right? And you might get some false starts like we did here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and before it goes. Because what it's doing is it's cleaning out this inventory here before it can rip. Of course, order flow permitting, right? So let's look at our trades off the open. Where's Jam? What's our inventory at? Or LC? What are you guys showing? 85% short. Okay, we have 85% short, but we will have sellers. Where they're stepping in, let's go clock and see where they're putting their offers in right now. So we've got sellers right now, I'd say we've got sellers here. Up at 49.90. I do the balance zones and I leave them. Now I will adjust them for the New York session, Damien. Like say we have a balance zone and then there's a Fed something or the other, or something weird happens and we move up 60, 70 points and then go sideways, right? I'll do that. But if they're working, I'll just kind of leave them alone, right? So 85% short inventory. That's why we keep getting bids, in these places, right? VWAP here, here, here. So let's see, when the market opens, we're going to play find the bid, right? And find the bid is to find, if you're a short seller and you're shorting, you're going to short down to find the bid. And when you find the bid, you better cover. Where is the open thing from yesterday? Yesterday we opened at 52.72. Today we're going to open somewhere at under 5,000. I would not want to be a margin clerk on this week. Could you imagine being a margin clerk this week? Hi, this is JJ from Goldman. Could you, and you could just imagine the obscenities that these margin clerks are dealing with. They're just like, F off, JJ, click. Right? A margin clerk is somebody who has to call and ask for money. And, you know, traders do not like being asked for money. They can be rather rude. I would not want to be a margin clerk. You got to have a pretty thick skin. It's like being a repo man, right? It's like being a repo man. What was that one TV show where they showed the poor guys with the tow trucks who had to repo the cars? People are shooting at them, throwing them beatings. Brutal. So let's see our trades. Now, I'm going to look for a test of VWAP lower down at that 49.63 area. Call me crazy. I know inventory is 85% short, but I want to see where the bid is in the morning. Now, let's look at that order book. What is it looking like? At least we get double digits at some, you know, you got 10s and 19s, 10, 16, 12, but a lot of the orders that are close to the, as they would say, the NBBO, they're like ones and twos. So this thing is thin. Okay, let's get up to that 49.92 and see if they sell into it, right? If you are a new trader, spend some time watching this. Rewind these charts at half speed when the day is done. You will really, really thank yourself because you'll be able to see, oh, if there's a seller there, guess what? They're going to be there again. It's very thin. You should have seen it this morning at the London Open, Sadiq. There were like gaps in the order book. There was no orders in at all that we could see. Right? When we did that big move up, it was nuts. You know, it was really kind of crazy. I haven't seen stuff like this, you know, since the COVID days. Look at that candle, right? I was telling people, if we get above that seller here, be careful on the short side. And the market went from 49.62 to 50.56 in 1 minute, in basically 1.5, 2 minutes. That was nutso. So I know I always say be careful, but please do. We don't want to see you lose money unnecessarily. You also have to ask yourself, you know, when the markets, when they spread it really big and the spread gets big and liquidity just dries up, do you really have the skill to trade that and do you want to? If you're on the wrong side, like say you were short at 5 and there's no, and you go to buy back, but there's no sell orders till 8. Hello. So we're creeping above 5,000. That's interesting. Now, guys, I'm going to do about an hour and 15 minutes instead of my usual hour and a half because I have a teaching class at 11 a.m. Eastern time for our coaching class. And got to kind of save the old voice. But we'll be back to an hour and a half tomorrow. Let's go take a look and see what's going on with the not so cool kids now. Where is so crabapple 173, right? I mean, we're still in massive distribution. We haven't come down to that 158 in Apple. Amazon 171. You know, you can see the cost basis in Amazon here, right? And now price is underneath it. That's why you've got selling pressure. But the initial cost basis is down here, so I know it doesn't really help if you're long at 225, but hey. Google, same thing. A lot of these stocks, they're still up, you know, from a couple of years ago, but we've just really knocked the stuffing out of them, you know. Meta, now Meta is a very thinly traded stock, and you can see the cost basis in Meta is all under $386, right? So that's pure distribution. Micro Squish, it's battling around that 360 level. Let's see if it can hold. Nvidia, look below and fail of 89 if you were lucky enough to grab that. Easier said than done. PLTR is hanging in there. They've done a good job with this stock. They've done a really good job with this stock. And Tesla is working out that 228 area. Right, so watch those levels. The good thing, Pupa, is you don't have to. You don't have to measure the majority. So, Pupa, what are you trying to do, right? You're trying to go long or short, right? Like you're trying to make money from this, right? So you have a trade setup. The trade setup is based on lack of supply or too much supply. And that's really all you got to do. You just got to keep it to that. Hang on a second. Right? So just don't worry so much about all of that. Don't worry about the details of when people are covering their positions. You know what? You'll know when they're covering their positions, my friend, when you see stuff like this. The first people to come in and buy are short sellers because they are closing trades, right? They're taking risk off. I'm short and I'm covering. So I am buying back a position. I'm booking profits or I'm managing risk, whatever they're doing, right? So shorts are always the first to buy, then wholesale will buy on top of the shorts. Then we will come in once we see price stability, right? Us and the momentum traders, the last people to buy that cause these big green candles are the people who shorted underneath that level. They're the ones who cause that big green candle because they all go to buy at the same time, and everybody who has the supply goes, nope, right? So you have to have a trade set up around that. So when a market looks underneath a level and comes back up, the sell orders underneath that level are complete. So you buy a little bit, put your stop there, and sell at the next level, right? That's all you got to do. Now, of course, it's easier said than done. And in this market, it's really easier said than done. Hey, Zazu, how you doing, brother? Can I can I can I give you a shout out? Can I tell people? Zaz now has been taking money out of his brokerage account 2 consecutive weeks, right? Right? You're not supposed to wire money into a brokerage account. You're supposed to wire money out of a brokerage account. And he's been doing so. So we're very, very happy that you're making money, you're managing risk, and that you're paying yourself. Very happy. He's worked very hard. He's been in my coaching class for a while. He's been on the mentoring class, and it's nice because he listens. My pleasure, brother. My pleasure. Good stuff, Howard. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, the whole tariff thing, I have no idea how this is all going to work out or play out. You know, I feel bad for a lot of the people who do have goods stuck in ports. Hey, Christian, how are you? What's going on? Well, the only thing that I do know after 33 years in this completely insane business is that this will pass. So that is, you know, that is something that I do know. It's not very comforting when you're going through it, right? It's not very comforting at all. There is a material change, Al. These tariffs are a massive material change. Let's see if Apple starts selling cotton balls instead of hardware. Who knows? But what I know is we're not going to really know the true effects until the next quarter. because we're going to look at the 13 Fs as they come out this month and earnings, but that's from the last 3 months. What's going to happen over the next 3 months? Well, if any of you have one of those magic lamps, we can rub it and the genie comes out. You know? I always look at the 13 Fs to see who's naughty, who's nice, who's happy, who's sad. Watch out. This thing's opening up in 30 seconds here, and it's starting to jump around. Yeah, who's itchy and who's scratchy? And a lot of these big money managers, they're like, well, maybe they're holding for 30 years. This current president's only in for 4 years. So maybe things will go back to the way they were after 4. I don't know. You know, I have no clue. Right? Wait, jeez, here we go. There's 5,000. Oh, Sadiq, you're right. I got to fix the volume on my charts. I'll do that after the session. Oh, I still haven't done that. Right now, I'm just looking at see where we print. So we've got sellers at 5,003. And let's see where they stop selling. Yeah, the old opening drive. Now, I'm curious. Do we hold this level here at 49.80? I don't know. Let's see. If we get close to the open, of course, we should technically tag that open. If we can't get down to that open at 83, there'll be some serious buy orders there. And the market will walk away from those buyers to try and make them pay more. Right? Because that's what a good capitalist does. Right? As soon as he sees people are desperate, they buy, they raise price. Jeez. I was thinking of buying 86, but my DOM froze, and it's just too fast for me right now. I don't mind admitting it's too fast. When I see my DOM freeze, it doesn't inspire confidence. Okay, let's see if we can go tag the close. The other thing too, folks, is the infrastructure that exists for retail traders. We used to have sellers here. Let's see if we have them again. For retail traders, the infrastructure, it is, Mike, that exists is not really built for times of stress the way it is for institutions. So you have to be very careful because your system will freeze. It's just very inconvenient. So you have volatility, and then if you have data dropping out or data freezing, especially like if you're trading on Wi-Fi, it can get a little scary. Those sellers up in that 18, 19 area, they're still there. Now let's see, we rotate down to where do we find the bid? Man, I tell you, the last 3-4 days, it's like the way this thing's running around, it's like having David Goggins as your personal trainer. Get up, move, screaming at you. No rest for the wicked. All right, let's see if we can take out that 21. Seriously. Yeah, fiber makes a difference. We might be moving at the end of the month, so I hope the new apartment, wherever we move, has fiber. Oh. So look above and fail of this level. I'm not in a trade, of course, but I'm just watching this. Now I'm looking to see where the bid is. Yeah, these ranges are nuts, Christian. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, Mike, you're the only one who likes a thin book. Hey, how you doing? Good morning. So we've got some bids just at 5,000. Now, if you're short and we take out that A high right here, if we take that A high out, be careful because it's going to run some serious stops. And the next set of stops is up at 50.33. So right now we have sellers here, right? We have sellers right here. It's the only thing that's keeping the shorts from getting like fried. You and LC should talk, Mike. You guys speak the same language, 0 and 1. All right, so we're getting rotation. Now what I'm looking for is I'm looking for rotation back down to this 49.80 level. Let's see what we get. Not bad breath, eh? Telek, thank you. 2.5 to 1 negative. Not bad. Could be worse. That's okay, Miles. I'll take 3 points all day, every day. Oil news at 10:30. Seeing some bids at 49.90, but not enough for me to take a trade. If these areas like this, if they start moving higher, I do believe we are going to go take that A high. There it is. And that's the stop run I was trying to warn you guys about. I said if we tick that A high, it's going to create buying. So don't be short because they're going to rip you. Right? We took that stop and they dumped into it at 33. Oof. So I think the thing for this market is let's see what happens this week. And yeah, 40-point candle, 1 minute. Thanks for coming out. Unbelievable. Yeah, Globex high does look like fair game. It's not that far away. Not the way this thing's going. Leaping lizards. As it takes stops, it creates buying. Exactly. I haven't listened to Cypress Hill in a long time. Did the president just tweet out a stock tout? It's a great time to buy. Oh my goodness. You gotta love this guy. It's hard to short this market when the inventory is short, Mike, in a thin order book. There's the overnight high. That's gonna run some stops. So I'll be looking for what's that level? Next level up 5087 and then 5091. Oh boy. What a dog's breakfast this is. Where is the next set of stops above 72? Oh dear God. Up at 5130. Lovely. Jeez. So yes, that's where I drew the green line, Herb. Filled one set of singles. Yeah, we could break out. If we trap enough people short, right? If we can get back over the overnight high at 50.58 and stay there. Now we're going to backfill, right? We went up to create demand. We are going to go back down now and fill in that demand with supply. And right now we're going to go try and find a bid. We're going to try and find this somewhere around here. Let's see where we find the bid. Is it here? Is it here? Right? And then, of course, so this is 4 times profit, and then we'll be into 8 times profit. Let's see if that line works. Do we find a bid here? I'm just guessing. That's just an educated guess, so I could be wrong. Like, don't buy it, please. Right? This is a hell of a backfill. 50, 65 all the way to 38. Jesus. Yes, buying them in. Liquidating longs, buying in shorts. But that's it, Kate. So if we can't get back above 38 and a half, look for 21. Right? So that bid was non-existent. Jeez. So it's an equal opportunity spanking machine. We just abused the shorts. Now we're abusing the longs who followed price. You can learn a lot by watching this market. We should slow down as we come into that cost basis here. It's $1 trillion penny stock now. This is the most prestigious market in the world. And this morning it traded like a pink sheet deal. 5021 worked, huh? We tagged it to the tick. Now if we hold it, it should rotate up to 38 and a half. We have a seller just under 38 and a half. Right here. So let's see. Can we hold 21 or is this all just come falling apart like a cheap suit? Well, it used to be the most prestigious. Yeah, and we do have a lesson at 11 o'clock Eastern Time, 4 in the UK. Look below and fail of 21? Yeah, maybe. Not yet. We're going to creep over 21. Oh, no. There's an aggressive seller at 21 now. Yumma humma. Look at that. Brutal. Brutal, brutal, brutal. Wow. You can be down like 50, 60 points in seconds. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. This buy structure at the top should not be apparently how buyers buy, right? Well, the smart money are buying and selling to you, Herb. Right? The smart money sells to you and then buys it back from you when you can't hold it anymore. How do you see the seller? A lot of you won't believe me, but it's the top of the candle. The top of the candle tells you where the seller is. So if the seller initiates, it creates the top of the candle. Right? Aggressive, not desperate. Right? No, no, aggressive. So Herb, say it's 50-21, and I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting there like a vulture, right? And you come up, and I see other people who are going to sell at 21, I'll hammer that market so fast it'll make your head spin. Aggressive. And you have to be aggressive in this market. Size traders are aggressive. They have guys like Mike write code for them that is aggressive. That I don't know how they do it, but they'll just hammer size into the market at certain levels. Price discovery is one of the most important features of a market. But the only thing about price discovery is it can be violent. So now we got to look below and fail of 21. You'll be looking for sellers here. Come on. Give me the candle. Right here. At 36. There'll be a seller at 36. Right? Then the next seller up will be 44. Okay? There. See? See how they're selling into it here? We knew they were going to be there because of that candle. I know it sounds ridiculously simple, but where they were before, they will sell again. Right? How do I know that the seller creates the top of the candle? Because I was the seller all my life. I've never been a buyer. I've always been a seller. Right? I've always been a distributor, a liquidator. Right? I'm Larry the liquidator. Right? You show me a buy order, I'll fill it. And I'm not talking short sales. I'm talking selling size. And the other thing is we teach in this trading room in Microefutures, we teach about cost basis. Cost basis is the most important thing you're going to learn. Because guess what? He who has the lowest cost basis makes the rules. So if your cost basis is 5 and my cost basis is 1, guess what? I can sell the market all the way down to $1.10 and still be in profit. Right? That's what I learned from the Penguin. My client, the Penguin, would always, if a stock was trading at $1, he would make a deal with the company so he'd own the stock at 30 cents. If the stock was trading at $5, he'd own it at 3. Right? Like there was one deal, stock was trading at $1. It's a funny story. I can't repeat it on here because it's not family friendly. But the stock was trading at $1, and these guys offered us 1 million shares at a 50% chop. So we could buy 1 million shares for 50 cents instead of 1 million shares for $1. So the Penguin took it down, which means he bought the 1 million shares. Stock went to $21 a share. Right? They were good mechanics. Right? That was a good trade. Never pay retail. So we got past the sellers there. Now they're here. Let's see, do we go back and forth? We still haven't done a rotation unless maybe I'm missing this. This could be our rotation here. Right? Maybe here? That's a big rotation. 50.19 to 50.60. Let's see. Right? And that's how I learned how to be an aggressive seller. So the Penguin and I was his trader. He'd have like, I don't know, 3 million shares of some stock in an offshore account. And the promoters would start promoting it. Now, if they didn't do what he liked, he'd call me and he'd tell me to hit every single bid. Just go hammer out 1 million shares. Take the stock from a buck 50 down to 75, 80 cents and just hold them underwater. And then the company would call them and the guys would be like, stop selling, stop selling. Right? He'd go, okay, I'll stop selling. Send me another 2 million shares. They'd do it. So he would extort more stock out of them. Right? Especially after Bre-X, when Canadian promoters went to the U.S., they didn't know how to trade U.S. markets. So I specialized in U.S. trading, and I had all the market maker relationships. So we could just, you know, just completely control a market, wrap our hand around the throat of it. A little bit of a bid there at 50, 44, right? Never pay retail, right? And that's why I've never bought stock in my entire life. Because you go work for a company, they'll give you stock for free. There's no need to buy it. Now, do we have a rotation? Have we chopped this rotation in half? And is this our new rotation? He was like the penguin from Gotham. And I was like one of his goons. That's why we gave him the nickname the Penguin. And he was the cheapest guy alive. I mean, I was with him when he made his first $400 million. And then we'd go do deals and visit people in the States. You'd go to San Diego, you'd go to New York, and we'd stay in the crappiest hotels. And he'd ask for a discount. I remember once in San Diego, we stayed in this hotel, and he wanted to share a hotel room. I'm like, the rooms are only $35, man. Hey, AZS, how you doing? All right, let's see if that seller at 60 is still there. But that's cost basis, right? Oh, he was cheap. He used to wear members-only jackets. So now let's see if we take it. I'm looking at this area here where the stops are at 72. If we can break out. Now, I know there's going to be a seller here. And a seller there. What's rotation? That's a great question, Kate. Rotation is when you have like a box like this and you just go back and forth and back and forth. And rotation happens when the market's a little bit slow and the wholesale element, right? They'll just rotate the market back and forth in this box like this, which is nice for us to trade because what we can do is if we have that, say you have a rotation here, our trades are nice because when the market looks above and comes back in, we can take a short, put our stop here, and look for this as a target. When the market looks below and comes back in, we go long, put our stop here, and then look for this as a target. Yeah, the point of control is up here, right? Up at 50.54. We've got good distribution. We've got our poor short sellers trapped. I would say the shorts, off the open, they were trapped under 82. And lately, I'd say 50.21 is where the bids are. Exactly. Rotation is what creates cost basis. Now, you get rotation and you get accumulation. Then you get a move higher and you get rotation for distribution. It's simple. Nobody ever tells you this stuff. I don't know why, right? But anybody who's teaching trading, they should be able to explain to you the business reason for taking the trade and the business reason for getting out of the trade. If they can't, that's a red flag. right? Every trade is a business decision. It's built on the business. And your stop is built on where the business doesn't make sense. And I think if people knew this, I think you would probably trade less. You wouldn't, all this FOMO stuff, you'd be like, FOMO schmomo, right? The mechanics of rotation, like say this, we've got a rotation now, right? Great question, very timely, right? So we have a rotation between here and here. So the market makers and the large traders under this 50-51, they'll be buying. When we get over 50-51, they're selling. Because business is a little slow right now, so they will just, this is called running a box. Now, if new customers come in, right, if this rotation creates price stability, it's going to bring in new customers. Just like when you see people standing in front of a hot nightclub, everybody goes and stands in line, then you can raise price. Yes, the street word for rotation is chop. But now you know what creates chop. Yes, it does. Rotation creates new cost basis balance. So we had rotation at the lows, now rotation here. But this price stability, right? When you hold a market steady like this, people go, you know what, maybe I should buy some. And then they come in and buy, and this is where you get that big green candle. And the shorts who are short here, right, they go, oh crap, and they go to cover. Everybody goes to buy at once, and the people who are long just raise price, right? Remember, the cost basis is just accumulation and distribution. So you can use the same cost basis. You'll see that these levels work because it's the same product, right? The business doesn't change. All we're doing is we're taking the same stuff and selling it at 2 times cost, 4 times, 8 times. Exactly, Kate. Exactly. Now you're cooking with gas. And what I want to teach you guys is how to be smart money. When to trade, when to know when not to trade, right? You know when to get out of a bad trade, right? Sellers didn't go away. The sellers never go away, Poopa. They never go away, my friend. The longs broke that rotation because they started jumping in and trying to buy. And the sellers went, well, if you're that desperate, let's raise price. Supply and demand, my friend. It's very simple. There you go, Chris. There you go. Nice. Basically, what you're looking at is a glorified sales chart. It is telling you the accumulation and distribution, or the sales, the markup and sales of the inventory of the day. Right? A daily chart shows you how that's going by the day. A monthly chart tells you how sales are going by the month. Right? So if you look at a monthly chart of the ES, we had a bit of a sale. Do I share my P&L? No. I trade for other people, right? I trade a little money for some ex-clients, but I don't share my P&L. I'm here to teach you guys, right? I'm not here to try and convince you that I'm a great trader. I make mistakes just like everybody else. Sometimes I make money, sometimes I lose money. I try to lose less than I make, right? I do blue collar trades. right? Simple trades that are based on lack of supply or too much supply. I don't try and pretend I'm smarter than anybody else, right? I'm not some great trading guru, right? I'm just a regular guy trying to teach you guys how not to get your face ripped off, right? You got to be a smart operator. Keep your business costs low, right? Now, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm Piprick. If you want to like reach out to me and if you want me to trade, like if you got 500 grand you want me to trade, then I will share my P&L. Oh, smooth like the song. Yeah, I forgot the song, right? But when I'm teaching people, I'm just trying to spread a little knowledge. That's all it is. If you want to come into the room, we'll teach you there. I'll, I do have a client of mine or a student of mine, and I can share his P&L. He told me, and if you saw it, you'd be pretty shocked because he does exactly what I tell him to do, and he averages around 3 grand a day, right? But I got nothing to prove. And I trade for income. Okay. How many contracts to make 2 grand a day? Well, Ed, do the math, right? So if you can make 3 to 5 points a day, say you make 4 points on one mini, that's $200. 4 contracts, that's $800. Do 2 4 contract trades. Now you're not always going to make that kind of dough. Sometimes it's going to be crappy and you're not going to trade much, like today, right? But it all depends on your risk, the size of your account. My whole thing is you don't need to look for three 30-point, 40-point trades. I like to make maybe 5, 10 points a day on 5 to 8 contracts, right? I'll trade 3 to 5 contracts for 3 to 4 points. Do it a couple of times. If I do it and I make a little bit of money and then I start losing, I shut it down. Get up, walk away, right? I don't like to lose money. I have a moral dilemma against losing a lot of money, right? Because I've been trained in the industry, right? I only take A plus setups. I don't screw around, right? I have been conditioned and trained by people who a lot know, by people who are worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and they know the business. They taught me the business, right? Yeah, I mean the margins are insane. I'm not going to pay 20 grand to trade the ES. If I do, it better be a damn good trade. It's not going to be, oh, let's just try this. You know what I mean? We're looking for 5021. Yeah, Mike. Uh, right? Yeah, I just trade for income. How did I get people with hundreds of millions to teach you? I was, for some reason, Ed, I always fall ass backwards into crazy situations. I'm actually writing a book about my story because it was really not at all a normal finance story, right? The reason was they could trust me, and I kept my mouth shut. Right? I didn't know anything when I started trading. I started on the trade desk. I had 200 clients. I couldn't trade my way out of a wet paper bag. In fact, Denise, our head trader, she wrote, buy on my left hand, sell on my right hand. I don't know. See, the thing is, LC, I don't know. I started writing that book so many years ago. I don't even know if anybody wants to read it. So that's why I haven't finished it. Right? I'll send you some chapters. It was just, I just always fall into these strange, crazy situations. It's like I'll be at a Starbucks and I'll run into somebody, and then later on you find out that the guy's a fugitive financier from Thailand or something. And it's just like I don't know why that always happens to me. Like I just attract crazy people, right? RX said he would fund the movie. Yeah, I was a phone chimp. I worked inside a boiler room. That was my first job. Get rich or die trying. Oh boy. Well, I'm sorry I haven't been calling out a lot of trades here today. Is that White Lotus any good? I saw that. I haven't watched it. You know what I did watch is I watched Tulsa King. I like that. Liar's Poker is the reason I became a trader. One of the traders from the Vancouver Stock Exchange gave me that book when I was a bouncer, and I was hooked. I was hooked. Yeah, Landman's good too. So, folks, looks like we got a seller at 60, and I'm just trying to get a rotation for you guys that we can trade. What I like is when the market gets a nice rotation going and we can pick it apart and just kind of trade it back and forth, you know? The book, it's called Liar's Poker. My book, if I ever finish it, is called Proper Villains. I have not read Fooled by Randomness. I love trading rotations, Ed. You know why? Because it's like we know what our sandbox is, right? We know, you know, look below and fail, look above and fail, right? It's been quite a ride. I've met some crazy people. Do you guys ever hear the Panama Papers? I don't know. It's a lot of young people in the room. Yeah, the Panama Papers are like my client list. Let's see if we do a look below and fail of 30. It's starting to get heavy. We might come back down into this cost basis here. They work best at the edges of any zone, Corey. Nice, Mike. Nice. You're gonna see some bids around that 5,000 mark as we drop in here. See down here? This area here, there's gonna be some bids. So if we look below 50.21 and fail, and you're short 60, maybe pay yourself a little bit. But if we can take out that low, see there it is, bastards. They shut off the supply under 21. Let's see if they sell into it at 31, right? Yeah, I had some pretty crazy clients. Mike, it's hard holding positions in this market. Even for you, and you're an institutional guy. You know, that's one thing I have to say. I've never watched the bond market. There's a lot of people who retail trade bonds now, like Eric, and I think LC. Do you trade bonds? Not me. I just stick to ES. So they seem to have a seller at 32, Mike, but they're not aggressive yet. So, folks in the room, we are going to have a lesson today at 11. Please join us in the coaching room. Oh, see, we cleared out that seller at 32. Saw some bids up to 38 half. I do use Jonah to close trades. Like so if I was short, if we came under 21, right? And I saw the offer moving down and I shorted say I was short 18, 17 against 21. As we came to VWAP, I would close my trades. Yeah, I don't initiate at VWAP. I close. Some people initiate. And you can when VWAP's nice and flat, you can initiate off of it. But what I don't like is when VWAP's doing this, right? Like it's kind of a moving target. I like initiating off a fixed reference. How long does it take to learn my style? My style is really simple. It's based on the business, George. How long does it take really depends on how stubborn you are, right? Yeah, I've known Mike for a while. He just joined the room 6 months ago. But Mike works on Wall Street. And he's an institutionalized trader. No, he's an institutional guy, right? But if you're really, really stubborn and you resist, it's so much harder, right? Try and have an open mind. What a lot of people don't like about the way I teach is that it's simple. Because I want you to get it and start making money, right? And I want it that I can teach you. That's why we don't do alerts or anything like that, right? I want you to learn how to hunt. So if anything happens to me, you guys can make money tomorrow, right? The rotations are getting smaller. The the price action lab, I mean, the lesson at 11 is for people who are in my private coaching class. So, Kate, if you want to uh, try the micro futures room, we've got a 7-day free trial, right? It's kind of stubborn right now, Poopa. Let's see. And then I offer like lifetime coaching. So it's a bit expensive, but it's a one-time fee, and I work with you until you get sick of me or until you start making money. So it's like lifetime one-on-ones and a coaching class. So if you want to work together every day, we work together every 2 days. We do Zooms. I trade with you. Um, and it's really just getting you, trained to think like the hunter instead of the hunted. Let's see if we put this on sale. We're still distributing. Like Sadiq called it really well. He said we're still distributing. Like if I just clean out all the chart drawings and show you just a clean chart, we are still, we've taken this and we've been selling it higher. As soon as the buyers run out, we're going to come back down to this area here, right? If this price stability brings in buyers, then we'll do this. How do we tell? We'll use that level. Like this area here at 49.83. I think that's very, very, very important this morning, right? 49.80, 83. If we take that out, then all of the candy here is going to fall out, right? It's tradable all the time. Now, if you have a narrow time window, measured move, we only execute when your setup presents itself. Yeah, I don't think the low is safe yet either, LC. Right? Why would all the candy call? This is our pinata low. Because if we take that low here, anybody who's using that low as a stop is going to come pushing out. And the wholesalers will sell the market back down to cost basis. Yeah, I'd rather be at the beach too. Yeah, nice LC. I don't think the high is safe. LC's like that. We used to have this broker. His name was Satya at our brokerage firm. And, and he'd always be in these deals. And we'd be like, hey, what's going to happen in this deal? He'd go, well, it will either go up or it will go down. And I'm like, thanks. You've been really helpful. Oh, man. It'll either go up or down, right? You never get a straight answer out of the guy. Well, the good thing is, Tutter, there's going to be a lot of people who don't. How many people you know are that strict with their risk management that they're going to exit when their stop gets taken? That's what you got to think about. All right, folks, I'm going to let you guys go a little bit early. Have a wonderful morning. Please be safe out there, right? If you are trading, take the money and run. And we'll see you tomorrow. Mahalo, Mark. Come join us at Microefutures. We'd love to see you. Have a wonderful, wonderful morning and be safe out there, okay? Thank you, everyone. Bye for now.